Tonight, we're going to talk about red flags in the Bigfoot community and how to spot them in encounter stories. What are they? Let's talk about it tonight on the Underground Live.
Something big is spooking residents. Multiple people have claimed to see a large furry animal trudging through the woods.
I literally could see him from all the way over here. I started hearing it. It was very large, and it was running so fast.
Of sorts for campers in Taos County. The Sheriff's Office is sharing safety tips on social media to protect yourself from
Bigfoot.
I saw something out of the corner of my eye off the side of the road in a culvert.
It's not like a bear, and it wasn't like a coyote. I've never seen anything like that.
No details, just big, like 10-foot foam, big thing. You're freaked out, hand in the leg.
I don't think it registered in what it was.
What's the likelihood that there are big animals that have gone undetected by scientists and by trained observers?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show, the Underground Live. How is everybody's Sunday doing? Mine has been a bit of a rush today. Did some things that I needed to catch up on for a very long time, like taxes. Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about red flags in Bigfoot, right? Red flags in the encounters. We all hear a good healthy amount of Bigfoot encounters, and how can we spot those? You know, we'll get into that in a moment. Right now, want to thank everybody for watching the show. Want to thank everybody for tuning in, becoming members. That's really cool. I think the members trip this year is going to be in May, and is going to be at the film site where my father got his footage. But we may wait till later in the year or during the summer. We're bouncing there in Kentucky right now, so we'll talk about it. Probably shouldn't have mentioned it. Still figuring all this whole thing out. The other day, Friday, you'll notice the video came out late. My internet was down. Could not upload a video till like 7 o'clock. And then at that moment, we did not make the 8 o'clock time. Just wasn't going to happen. The episode was long. So anyways, came out at 10. It's not happening again. It will be at 8. I'm actually going to preload next week's episode tomorrow. Speaking of next week's episode, a couple of firsts. We had the first lady on the show. She came, I interviewed a guy named Mike Aguilar. He's from the Mid-Florida Bigfoot group on Facebook, and he came up. They just recently had an encounter, but they came up, and I got to interview his girlfriend, who was also there when the encounter went down. And then I got to also interview his 11-year-old son, who has had 2 encounters. So it was pretty cool, you know. So first lady on the show, the first or the youngest person ever to be on the show so far. It was pretty cool, you know. And then they headed off to Jennings. So it was a great conversation. And got one more coming up after that. I don't know. I'm working on a deep dive episode right now. So on Fridays, when I cannot get in an interview, somebody in studio, we're going to do deep dives. That's what the podcast was meant to be anyways, more of like a Y-Files structured type show, like a mini documentary, 30, 45 minutes at the most, of me going through an encounter story and all that jazz. But I got my buddy Chris Godwin coming down. He's got a really cool story. I was with him when that encounter happened. Much like last Friday's episode. My buddy Josh, he was on Monster Quest not long ago, same episode I was on. And he had a cool encounter because when he pulled up, when they got out of the car, they were in the middle of two of them. And so it kind of went, south for them pretty quick. But I've also known Josh for a really long time and been Bigfooting with him since like 2012, 2013. So we just really sat there and reminisced, you know what I mean? And talked about encounters and how it used to be, where it's at now. And, kind of scalded ourselves at once. He brought up the fact that, bro, we used to be like actual scientists out there with our notebooks and writing down this, that. And he goes, now we kind of gotten out of that. And so we need to get back into that, but super fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, Between Two Sasquatch, Between Two Bigfoot, Friday's episode, look it up. You won't be disappointed. Really, really good. Okay. On the outside of that, memberships are available. You will receive badges, discounts on merch, discounts on expeditions, access to a yearly members expedition, and then members content. So going to be dropping some members content here soon. Going to start stacking that up. I'm just kind of getting a lot together right now before I throw them out there. So you definitely want to, if you like the channel, if you love it, support it, become a member and grab a bunch of the great perks. Our Wednesday shows, okay? Not doing no more Zoom interviews for the time being. It's a hassle to do them. I did 2 last Monday, and the second one I can't even use. Internet connection. His internet connection was so bad. And then the other one, he was going to be the guest. So Wednesday shows are going to be, they'll be live Zoom interviews. So you guys will be able to ask questions of the guest after they're done talking. And, that way it's more interactive. A lot of times I'm not asking the questions that you want to know. Right. And so this way you'll get to do that. And members do get priority over everyone else. So, yes, where is Windwalker? Haven't heard from him. Hope he's okay. Might text him here in a second. See what he's up to. Monster Quest. Couple of comments. Monster Quest was fire again this last Friday. That Dogman encounter in Dallas, Texas. Might have to check it out. As I mentioned in the interview, I only watched my stuff and then I turned it off. I take that back. I did watch a whole episode, but I didn't watch another episode because I'm not like subscribed to History Channel. I had to purchase the episode, but whatever. We get what we get. Do what we do. And that's about it. That's about all I wanted to go through. Oh, got to plug the merch. Got to plug the merch before we get into it. We have these Bigfoot Journey to Belief hats. These Dogman hats. Also, the Bigfoot Journey to Belief DVD. Now available. And then we have shirts. I don't even know how this Bigfoot Journey to Belief t-shirt. Dogman t-shirt. Let's do a flash sale tonight. How about that? $10. Shirts, hats, DVDs. $10. Just PayPal or Cash App. Put that in the description for the product you're purchasing. If you're purchasing a shirt, do whatever size you want. Put that on there, and then make sure you leave an email so I can get back a hold of you. Members, if you haven't already, by the way, please email me so I can give you your merchandise discount. YouTube doesn't give me the information for each individual. You know, so if you're thinking about buying some merch, send me an email so I can get you that merch code. And it's good for life. So if you're just a member for 1 month, you have the merch discount for the rest of your life. Need a dang pair of underpants. That would work, dude. Brandon, can I get a hard copy? Or Backwoods. Sorry, I used your government name. Can I get a hard copy of The Pit? You can, but I can't tell you where to get it, bud. I know they sold them at Walmart for a little while. I myself do not have a copy of The Pit. Bear Effer. Uh-oh, here we go. Bear Effer stirring the pot. Patty Film fake. It's okay, Bear Effer. I agree with you. Okay, so now that we are rolling, wanted to talk about what are your red flags, you know, when you speak to witnesses. And I'm going to leave it open, turn the lines on at first, and I do want comments on this. You know, I've talked to over probably 750 people since like 2011, right? I don't know the exact number. A lot of times now I'm not even getting to write it down anymore. Canadian Tire money. But yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So usually when we talk to these people, it splits up into like 4 categories. Okay. The person, I would say the biggest percentage of these people are just lying. I don't know why they do it. It's never made sense to me. Maybe they're just trying to fool you because they think you're stupid or something like that. Those people are usually pretty easy to spot. You know, over details, things like that. You could kind of tell. And then you have people who misidentified what they saw. They really saw something, okay? For some reason, they thought it was a Bigfoot, and it's not. They're not lying. The encounter actually took place. It's just not what they think, you know. And I don't think that's a large percentage of it, but I do think it's easily 10%, you know, maybe even 20. And then I know people may not think about this right off your top of your head. People in this world are schizophrenic. So a lot of people in this world that are schizophrenic. Meet them at every concert or conference. You can tell, right? I said concert. I wanted to talk about concert tonight. I want to just mention I wasn't in the chats last Wednesday. So I'm an Uber driver, and while I was out Ubering, I picked up the guitarist and the bass player from Heart. We talked Bigfoot the whole time, and then they ended up giving me tickets to their show on Wednesday night, so I didn't make the chats. But anyways, it was a really cool experience. They gave us 4 seats, like 12th row. It was badass. Heart, the band sings Barracuda, Straight Out of Line, those things. Me and my wife went, thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. It was great. Okay, back to what I was doing. Schizophrenic people. I'd say it's close to about the same percentage as misidentifications. These people mean you no harm. They don't mean harm in lying, right? They believe what they saw. It happened to them. But they're schizophrenic, right? And I always wondered about schizophrenia, like, who's to say what they're seeing ain't real? I mean, except for we're not seeing it, but like, I'm colorblind, and so that falls on the lines of me seeing colors one way and you see them another. You really can't. I mean, I guess you can look at the eyeball or whatever and tell, but it's a visual test, and I could be lying through the whole visual test. Right? So I'm really seeing the colors that I'm saying I'm seeing. Just because you can't doesn't make me wrong. Right? So schizophrenia be the same thing. Just because we're not seeing what they're seeing, I don't know. Maybe they're still not wrong. Right? And then your last percentage is just people that are telling the truth. This is, I believe, the smallest percentage, maybe less than 10%. And a lot of reasons for that are when I'm trying to think how to say this, they don't want to talk about it, right? A lot of times they're hesitant to it. But you're seeing a Bigfoot, a very rare creature. Okay. All these sightings reports, in my opinion, we can't have that many. There's too many reports. And because if there was that many sightings, if people were seeing them that often, don't you think this would be common now? Like, there has to be at some point to where an animal becomes of enough population to where a lot more people jump in their sightings, right? It doesn't become taboo, where right now you may have 1 out of 300 people seeing a Bigfoot in their lifetime, or some big number like that. But you think if they were actually seen as much as reported, you would think a whole lot more people would have had sightings. Okay, there's that many of them to have all these reports, so now we're talking about maybe it's 1 in 50 people have seen a Sasquatch, right? But you don't. Because then that would lead to discovery, right? We would have these things that would be hit on the road all the time. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody here saw a deer, right? And they have a big population. And if Bigfoot was seen as much, because I mean, like, just in my years from 2000, really kind of 2010, 2007, right? When me and my dad started getting into this, there's like 5 times the reports now than there was then. And then when I was a child, and there's so many more than that. And I know we got the internet now. That's kind of a much bigger thing with social media, and it's easier for people to share their encounters. But it's also easier for people to form clubs. And so therefore, like the Mid-Florida group talked about Facebook groups. Nothing against them. Not saying anything bad against them. What I'm saying is that you will have people join these groups, and now they have an encounter because they want to be part of the gang. Right? They want to be part of, they want to be a part of it too. And so they make something up. And how many reports are like that? I believe most of them. So in that 750 reports I told you I took, give or take, or actually give probably 30, probably 75 of those are real encounters. And the rest would kind of fall down to that, misidentification, just straight lying, or, schizophrenia. Right. So I don't think people are seeing them that much, because I think they'd be in a zoo by now if we were, unless there is something special about them. That's another part to it, right? Because the Bigfoot encounters are getting wilder. Nobody used to talk about the lights. Now, have times changed? Have we entered certain kind of times to where the beasts from the Bible now walk the earth? There's weirder stuff going on. Trump released last week, since we've been on, that they're going to put out all the, UFO information. Don't be shocked, people, if Bigfoot is a part of that. Okay? I very much believe that if they're going to talk about mantis creatures, reptilians, why couldn't a Bigfoot be in that? And you never know. It could be. There's enough shit going around it that it could be some type of extraterrestrial or interdimensional being. It sounds like that's kind of what the UFOs are. And so if they're interdimensional, right, this also helps with the dog man, frog man, lizard man, moth man, all these other kind of creatures, sheep squatch, stuff like that. And this is the curveball I'm going to throw you. I don't think skunk ape, the South Florida skunk ape, is going to be in that. I think that's maybe your only actual flesh and blood of all the creatures, right? There are really not a lot of them, and they seem to be like an orangutan. I think there actually could be some type of unknown primate down there. And with the glades being the glades, it ain't looked through enough. It's massive. You could never look through it enough, right? Bigfoot, on the other hand, dog man, all that. There's weird shit going on with that. So, anyways. But the sightings have changed. They're no longer seeing the Bigfoot crossing the road. And more than likely now, there's going to be something else added to the story that's kind of out of this world, whether it be lights or telepathy or mind speak, whatever they want to call it, some otherworldly abilities, right? Me personally, I think it's all the same thing. I think the ghosts, the UFOs, the aliens, the Bigfoot, the dog man, all that shit's all the same thing. I think it's just one phenomena, and it comes to you how it feels it needs to. Whether that's something terrifying as a dog man, or, a Sasquatch, something not as terrifying, right? David Birch, I think almost all sightings are fake. They're only 6 foot tall and pigs and big because people in suits. Well, all stories are 7, 8, and 9 footers. Yeah, and basically, so let's get down into the red flags we'll kind of run through this quickly because I want to open the phones and see what your thoughts are. But one, the story will change over time. Okay, this is number one. Like if I know you've had an encounter and I have access to you, I'm going to ask you that story 50 times. I mean, over the years, I'm going to ask you and ask you and ask you. And that's the thing I did with Justin Smea. I know a lot of people think he's bullshitter, but his story never changed. but usually you'll get height shifts, things like that, where it starts as like a fishing story. A fish was this big, and then it was this big 10 years later. You know what I mean? But also the color, people will be like, start out with, it was black. What I seen was black. And then it was like, oh, well, there was a reddish hue to it. You know what I mean? And just little kind of changes like that. And definitely with where people usually trip up is the size distance. It was away from them. They'll start with it's 40 feet. Give it 10, 20 years. The damn thing was 10 feet away, Another thing that is to me, kind of a giveaway is there's too much detail, right? Like they'll tell you things like, it'd be a super quick encounter, but they tell you how many teeth were in its mouth. You know what I'm saying? Or they saw eyelashes, right? Like this is a traumatic event. For the most part, I can't imagine this being a awesome, calm event. I just can't. I hope to have one. Maybe they have really happened. I just, it's kind of an earth-shaking thing, right? But, you'll have too much detail from some people who've had trauma with the experience. You're talking about, I could see the muscles moving, at 60 yards and stuff like that. It's like, and then I think you're bullshitting at that point, right? But then does that mean you're lying, right? Because maybe you're just exaggerating. There's still a truth there, but they're kind of adding in more detail to be a better storyteller. I guess that you would need to know the person at that point, right? You would need to know if they were that guy who everything was fucking 12 foot tall, right? But like when my encounter happened, I didn't think to study the anatomy. I didn't try to find out I don't remember whether it was a male or a female. I just thought I was about to die. Right? So maybe some people are more observant than others. These are my thoughts. Okay. Let's just say that. These are my thoughts. Another thing is like people will show zero emotional weight, right? Like they had a face-to-face encounter. He was right at the hood. Like, so when I had Hunter on, and maybe people act like this, and maybe in his instance, he chased it because he was in a car. Not sure if he'd have chased it. Maybe the story's different if he's outside, right, of a vehicle. But when people tell you their story, and it's like they're bored. I've seen a Bigfoot, is what it is. I'm James Dean or whatever. They just kind of is what it is. To me, that's a red flag because, brother, you saw a Bigfoot. How are you not excited about this? Right? How are you not shaken up about this? You just saw a Bigfoot, bro, and you're telling me it's no big deal, Another thing is instant monetization, right? You'll have people that have a sighting, they found something or whatever, and then it's like instant monetization. Now they've got a website, there's merchandise for sale, and the members get to see the real evidence. Or a sighting happens and then a business opens up right after that sighting happened, right? Once there was some type of big thing, now there's a business, and who knows goes on with that. Like with the Rick Dyer case, the tent video come out, and bam, now there's a fucking tour. He's going to tour the body around, right? That instant monetization, and his sighting that fooled, or hoax that fooled so many people, is directly stuff I'm talking about right here. There was a website, members only, you know what I mean? You had to pay to play kind of thing, merchandise, taking donations, and just being vague with the evidence drops and dragging these people along. And in my opinion, when that started, when it was like, oh, you have this video, you shot a Bigfoot, and now there's a world tour. Of course there's a fucking world tour. You shot Bigfoot. What am I talking about? And you know, and then some other stories just feel cinematic, right? And maybe I only catch this because I dabble with filmmaking, right? But when a story is like, it's perfectly lit, you know what I mean? We stared at each other, you know, and you're thinking, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Where everybody's just kind of staring at each other. The pacing's just like a movie. You know what I mean? Sometimes when they really get these cinematic encounters, you wonder, are you just a good storyteller? This is how your story, you know, you're deciding to tell your story, or did you make the shit up, right? Because you thought it'd be a cool scene for a movie. And then you'll have people who've had sightings their whole life. Damn, every time I go to the woods, bro, Bigfoot sighting. I'll be damned. Well, I had another one again today, brother. I was out there. Oh shit, you never guess what I did last Tuesday? Talked to a Bigfoot. He walked, you know, he was right out there in the woods. I seen him, you know, and these people that just have story after story after story after story, and there's no corroboration ever. There's no evidence. Right? There's no nothing. No footprints, no broken limbs, like no second witness. That's the big part. You know, no audio. There's nothing. I'm not trying to document anything. I'm going out here and having these encounters. You know, hell, the creatures are invisible, right? I've heard some of that, believe that or not. And that's that, you know, they just have all these encounters all the time. So bullshit meter goes off, and still listen, still take them. But I've heard those kind of encounters more than you would think. And this last one, I call this the chosen one syndrome, right? And now these people, like Matthew Johnson, okay? These creatures contact with him. They're only going to talk to me. Okay. I'll bring you, but I got to ask. We're not going to hear a fucking reply in English, so we're not really going to know. But at the same time, it's really happening, you know, because I'm the chosen one and they chose me. Right. They'll say things like, oh, you real researchers are scared of the truth. Okay. Whatever, bud, you know, but you'll hear a lot of things like, well, they tell me stuff. They tell me secrets. And then that goes back, you know, that goes back to the zero emotional weight, because they'll act like it's no big deal. They talk to me all the time because I'm the chosen one that they're here to talk to. So that right there, if you see any of that stuff in stories, you got to think about it. You got to wonder if these things are actually happening. You know, now I just told you all how to not give me an encounter. So now I'll never know. Those are the things I use, though, to grade Bigfoot encounters that I get. So I'm going to go ahead and let's make sure this damn thing is connected before we start taking calls. What are we connected to? We're connected to the task cam. Good deal. We're going to hook up our headphones here. Ugh. Why did I put that light there? Okay, go ahead and turn the calls on now. If you'd like to talk about that and tell me why you think, what are some red flags of Bigfoot encounters? Go ahead and do it. Give us a shout, 850-695-0522. David Birch right here. Big red flag is the people who claim to have shot them. I just never buy it. I believe a few people. I do. Doesn't mean anything, though, in the grand scheme of things. Mr. Bobo, 86. He's saying maybe the Bigfoot can pick up on your intentions. That's why you actually have better chance to see them if you aren't out there to capture video of them. I do believe they pick you, like, and not to sound like that chosen one syndrome thing, but I seriously think maybe it's your intentions, your frequency. I've heard all kinds of different things. I got a call coming in. Bainbridge, Georgia. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. Check. Can you hear us? Feed is black. Yeah, hey, let me call you back real quick, buddy. All right, man. Bye. Okay, people, can y'all hear me? I know you can't see me. It's not even coming up there. It's like it's just dropped it all out. Okay. Okay, you can see me, I take it. Now let's see if you can we switch to the other camera? Boom. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Are y'all there still? Yes or no? Can you see me, please? Somebody let me know. We're going to call our caller back. You're back. Okay, let's call our caller back. Okay, calling him back. Okay, I'm back up now. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I just seen your picture pop back up. It went completely black, the whole thing.
No idea, but we called back Bainbridge. All right, so how you doing, Brian?
Right, you're back on that. I'm doing all right, just driving home from work.
Yeah.
And
so what's up, bud?
And so I was going to tell you incident that I had with paranormal investigation. I don't know where we dropped off, so I'll just start from the beginning.
Yep.
There was this lady. She had a ghost in her house. She swore up down she had a ghost. Sometimes the paranormal would turn into an everyday explanation. And in this case, lady had the television. The volume would go up, down by itself. The channels would change by itself. And she swore up and down that it was hitting people's television shows that had passed on that they like to watch and all that stuff.
Hell yeah. Why not, brother?
Yeah. So the investigator was telling me about this. This was a different guy that was telling me about this. And he said what they did was they went in and they took all what they could of readings and stuff, and they were finding nothing. I mean, it was hitting bone dry. And finally, they saw the television doing it. And somebody asked her, have you ever, and this was back in the day, okay, this was not recently. They asked her, have you ever thought about maybe it's your television? So she had it. She took it to a place that repaired TVs.
Okay.
Back in the 90s, right?
Yep.
So they found out that the little eye on the television was actually sending signals to the circuit board, and it was changing the channels by itself because it was freaking out.
Okay.
It was a part of the television, and they replaced it, and it never happened again. I've seen instances where people hear creaking. It'd be the pipes. You know, house
so I think that would,
the house settled.
I think that would kind of fall into the misidentification. You know, they thought it was somebody else or thought it was something else. They weren't lying.
No, it's just, but those stories get told, and I got a haunted house, and the next thing you know, somebody else hears, oh, Miss such and such, she lives in a haunted house.
Yeah.
And then there was that exercise, and I'm pretty sure you've done it before. Tell one person the story that goes around the room, and then you have the last person tell the story and see how it changed.
Yeah, telephone.
And that's a pretty interesting experiment, but it shows you just how word of mouth sometimes can be changed throughout. That's why, like the story I told you about the knocking on the floor in my house, we had multiple witnesses. Hell, we had a deputy sheriff come in and felt it. So that was something that I could not debunk easily.
Right.
So, but, you know, I ran into people before, especially in the area that I live in, that they talk about Bigfoot. There was this one guy, oh, there's a silver one that lives on the river. Well, how do you know? Oh, such and such saw it. Well,
Yeah.
how do you know he saw it? Well, he said he did.
Right.
You know, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So as much as I've been in the woods as a kid, I can honestly say I haven't run into one that I could tell you I saw it. But you hear a lot of crap in the woods at night. And if you ain't careful, everything's a bear or a damn Bigfoot. Especially if you're out there with a little flashlight by yourself out there in the woods.
Yeah, imaginations run wild, you know, and that's why it's always good to have somebody with you to be like, yeah, I don't know. But then the problem is you get two of those kind of people together. They come out of the woods in a damn panic, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think what you're talking about is those people that they're attention seekers. They need somebody to listen to a story, and so they come up with something, and it's just BS.
Right.
And this happened to me. Pay attention to me. I've had that happen before. I have. And in paranormal investigation, you also get the sad stuff, like they report something just so that somebody will come over and talk to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of same thing with Bigfoot. Sometimes it's just lonely old cat ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
But you still have to go through the motions. You have to go through the motions to figure out if that's the case, and that may take a couple weeks, right?
Well, me and a buddy of mine, I got a vacation coming up, and me and him has been talking, and we're going to go try to hit an island on Chipola River.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take my recorder out there. We're just going to see what happens. But I told him, I said, listen, if something's going to come up, it's going to come to us. We ain't got to go looking for it anyway.
There you go. That is single-handedly the best way to hunt Bigfoot. Just go out there. Because if they're in the area, I promise you, they're going to come to you. They're going to come to you for one reason or another. But you're not going to sneak up on them, right? And you traipsing around the woods, you're putting yourself in danger. And then on top of that, you're only going to find like trace evidence. You have to sit there and wait for them. Just get into a spot. Like we'll go off into the woods into random ass spots we pull up to and have a fish fry. Get a new smell out in the air. Yep. And if they're there, they'll come to us. So.
Well, I've been out in Clarksville many a night when I was a young boy. And I heard stuff. But if these things can mimic other things, who's to say it wasn't? Who's to say it was? But you know what? In the moment, you don't think about that stuff. You out there, sucker fishing or doing whatever activity young boy's not supposed to do in the middle of the night that I'm not going to mention.
Right.
But that's not your first thought. But I told him, I said, if we get anything, what I want to do is if I do get anything, I want to send you the audio file and let you go from there because I don't know how to do that. You got more experience in that than I do.
Well, I don't know how to do it neither, but I got friends that do,
Yeah.
And I'll send anything to them because they love to do that shit, Yeah.
But I got to thinking, how many people have run up on a panther in the middle of the woods? I've been stalked by a panther twice in my life.
Yep.
And the only reason I know, excuse me, is because I found the tracks both times. And that's the only way I knew that son of a gun was tracking me, was because of that. I never saw him, never heard him, nothing. Now, how more elusive is Bigfoot than a panther?
I'm going to say about the same. It's about the same, I would think.
It's about the same. So you're talking about a dude that's going to tell you that every time he walks in the woods, he runs up on a panther?
Yeah, nah. Brother, I've spent a lot of time just put a lot of miles in the woods, and I've had 2 encounters. 2 with a panther, right? Had more encounters with Bigfoot than I have a panther, But you're not gonna. And a lot of times those animals are so quiet they let you walk right by. Like I got stalked by a panther in Mayaca, and then this other time we just walked up on it, coming through the brush. We came to this creek and we didn't see it. It just like you know what I mean? And then like just urinated, and it was so stank, And so we quickly hauled ass. We didn't want nothing to do with that. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that mind speak stuff that everybody keeps talking about. That's in the paranormal realm, and I've done that. And it's weird. And anybody that's never had that happen to you, just imagine words and sentences and thoughts that come into your head that ain't yours.
Right.
And they're not yours. And you will. It's not an audible. It's in the mind. It's like you're thinking something, but it's not you thinking it. That right there is how mediums work. Because when I was doing the medium stuff for a couple of years with my late wife, that's exactly how they communicated. So that part, you're never going to prove that. And I told a guy one time, I said, all right, count to 3 in your head. And there's some people that don't have that ability. There's actually a mental, I can't remember the name of it, but it's actually a condition where you can't imagine things in your head. But I said, count to 3 in your head. He said, okay.
I think it's called Bill's fans.
All right. Something like that, yeah. And I said, now prove to me that you just counted the 3 in your head. He said, I can't. I said, exactly. You can. because that's a personal thing. That's in your head.
Yeah.
How are you going to prove that? And that mind speak stuff, everybody has I totally believe that Les Stroud had that, because the description that everybody gives me is exactly what I used to do whenever I would do spiritual medium stuff. And I was getting information that I did not know.
Right. But like, the problem is the information's out there and everybody knows how to describe it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the bad part about it. The fact that the word has spread now makes for more people coming and just making shit up. And that's got to be some of it. Just statistically, that has to be a percentage of it. You know, but statistically, it has to be happening to somebody, right? And I believe it happens. I just hate the word mind speak. It's like telepathy, guys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, when me and him go out on this island, and we're serious about going out there, we have to get out there by boat, of course. But I'm thinking about trying it. I don't know how stupid of an idea that would be, but I would be able to recognize it, being that I've done it before. And it's very hard sometimes, because you second guess yourself. Did I just think that? And you have to sit there for a minute.
Yeah.
And like, no, I didn't just think that. There was no reason for me to think that way. And then it freaks you out, and you start second guessing yourself and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm hearing voices in my head now.
Right.
And it messes with you a little bit. But I don't know. I didn't know if that would be a good idea or not, but I could try it.
Hey,
see
man.
What happens.
Yeah. There is no there's no right or wrong way. Everybody's experience is, like you said, it's their experience. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go out there and see a Bigfoot, you have no way to prove it unless you get audio or video, and then they're just going to call you a fucking liar. Right? The moment you bring a piece of evidence into it, then they're going to 100% think it's bullshit and that you're lying. But the main thing about it is personally having that encounter. And that's all you'll have from it. But, you know, camping out on the Chipola, brother, be careful what you wish for, because there's definitely some Bigfoot there, and they've been there for a long time. There's a lot of sightings coming out of the Chipola.
Well, the island that I'm thinking about going to is not that far from my property, where my cousin had that encounter and where my brother had that encounter. So we're maybe 3/4 of a mile away the crow flies.
Right.
Right from there.
Same time?
I was watching there was a podcast you were on, and there was another guy that came on. I watched the podcast last night, and it was a truck driver that had an experience with Dogman.
Okay, the confessionals.
And he was talking about it. Yes. And he said that thing mind spoke to him before he shot it.
Right.
And I'm hearing a lot of that. So, and that dude, he sounded like he was legit, because he also talked about how this messed up his life. And I don't know, because it's hard to prove, like I said, but there's people out there that this stuff is happening to. I kind of feel for them, because there is so much BS out there that you got to be careful. But at the same time, you want to listen to somebody, and you know, but it's like, dang, now you got to get through these weeds with this person and do some more questioning and find out, is this legit? Is this not legit? But something there about that. But yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about in this in this episode, because I've dealt with it on the paranormal side big time.
Yeah, man. Where are you at again? Where are you located?
I live in Panama City, but I grew up around the little town Alta.
Okay, well, hey, man, if you're into that ghost hunting stuff, dude, I just got permission to ghost hunt the old Quincy Theater.
Really?
Yeah, historic place. So, like, the lady that's running all the stuff there, the events and the whole place. I'm trading. I'm gonna shoot like do some commercial work for them you know, so I can go there and ghost hunt.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to hook up and do some ghost hunting, bud.
Yeah. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, brother.
Like I said, I told you before, chasing the devil.
Yeah.
But at least I know what I'm chasing.
Right.
But I could tell you another place. Talking about Quincy, I used to work at River Junction. River Junction is on the Chattahoochee institutional grounds. It used to be the infirmary, and they turned it into a state prison. And I had one incident where I was in a dorm, and I heard glass breaking. And I'm like, great, I'm about to get off work. Now I got to write a damn incident report because somebody's done broke some glass back there. They might be cutting each other. Who knows? So I get up and I look through the dorm, and everybody's in the TV room. The TV room door is shut, so you don't hear nothing. And I clearly heard broken glass hit the floor. So I'm going through, and the state prisons are just bunks. They're not in cells. They're just like a military dorm. And I'm just walking around looking for broke glass. And there's this one inmate laying there, and he's got the covers up to his chin. And I was like, did you just hear something? And he looked right at me. Eyes got real big. He said, I ain't seen shit. I ain't heard shit. Leave me alone. And I went back to the officer station. And there was always reports from the guys that went to confinement. We had a dude that his arms were as big as my leg. And he got a transfer because he was tired of what was going on in the confinement area. There was screams that were heard, people whistling at night, and the dudes were all freaked out. The paranormal activity in that confinement area did more to those inmates than any of the officers could ever have done.
Right.
It was well known.
Yet they still ended up in jail. Yet they still ended up in jail.
Yeah, exactly. They have dug up bones on the ground.
Yeah.
There at the prison.
I bet.
And I was told by someone who was in the government there in Chattahoochee that the Pizza Hut, I don't know, you have to look at this, but he told me that the Pizza Hut was built on top of a grave, and they just moved the stones because it was a black graveyard. This was a black guy telling me this. And he said it was a black graveyard, so all they did was move the stones. So there is a graveyard, supposedly. Don't take, with a grain of salt, because this is word of mouth.
Yeah.
Supposedly on the Pizza Hut's on top of it. So Chattahoochee is very deep in paranormal.
Oh, yeah, brother.
That's why I think the Ocheesee stuff, dude, there's just all kind of stuff going on in that whole area.
Well, brother, let me go, man. I'm going to take some more calls, but I appreciate you calling. And speaking of the Ocheesee Pond, I got something coming up on that Ocheesee Pond wild man story. But it's nice to hear from you again, man. And seriously, shoot me an email, man. We'll hook up, go something.
Sweet. All right.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. There you have it. The Ocheesee Pond Wild Man, by the way. I got something really cool coming out on that. Okay, we got our next caller. It says Tallahassee, Florida. Let's see. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
All right, take care. Yeah, who am I speaking with?
It's Stacy.
All right, everybody. Hey, Stacy.
Yeah.
Live. This is from up here and just on the other side of FH13. Hey, brother, listen, I'm not going to keep you long. You definitely want to get with me. I understand, yeah, some of these people seeing stuff. I've seen the teeth. I've seen the muscles, all that other kind of crazy shit. But when you hear what I have to tell you and the things that I have to share with you from the life of a snake hunter, it's a whole different story. You know what I mean? I spent most of my life out there for over 40 years, and I've been all over the place.
Who's this?
Some really
is
interesting
this George?
stuff I'd like to share with you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you at the beginning.
Yeah.
Is this George?
Yeah, it's George.
Hey, bud. Yeah,
I know you didn't get a chance to call me this. You know what I mean? And I understand you're busy and everything. I just got the chance to look at the live, caught the number, said, well, let me give it a chance to see if I can, hopefully get through. just give you a quick touch base.
Well, hey, why don't you go ahead?
You'd like to hear.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us something now? I got 136 people listening. If you don't mind sharing.
Okay. No, not at all. I like I said, I sent you the emails there when I did the investigation for Tom Biscardi out of California.
Yep.
I was always into it like everybody else. Boggy Creek, you know what I mean? Growing up as a kid, the cryptids, all that kind of stuff, Loch Ness, all that kind of stuff. But always being into the animals and snakes and stuff like that since I was a kid. I moved to Florida. Why? Because all the animals are down there. All the snakes are down there. So I spent a lot of time out there. I went out to South Carolina, stuff like that. I've been in a lot of swamps. I've got some cool stuff. You know what I mean? I always observant. Of course, you're looking for stuff, looking for snakes, looking for lizards.
Mm-hmm.
I never had, I'm not going to say I didn't have the experiences like other people, but when you're making money and the concentration is on the money, yeah, I'd take a couple of videos. Yeah, I'd take a couple pictures. Yes, I would listen. Yes, I would comment. And yes, I've had people with me that shared sightings, some of the sounds, some of the call responses, etc. So, being, like I said, being out there as a snake hunter, it's really different. Hunting at night, when you're looking at little green lizards on a green blade of grass over 50 yards at night, your vision gets to be a little bit different equipped than others would think. And I'm not doubting anybody. I'm not downing anybody. But it is a different life experience being out there in the forest like that, being out there in the swamps like that. And over the last few years, I have, being that I'm semi-retired, I've gained more to being more aware, taking more videos, taking more pictures. Of course, I watch all the shows and stuff like that, pictures, things, what they look for, what they listen for. Some of that stuff going out there with a ton of people, not good. A couple of people having some backup, absolutely. It's just different being a snake hunter and some of the stuff that I've been into and seen. Being in floodwaters down there, or out there in South Carolina from here, having something whistle at you when the water's high coming from a cabin behind you, and you're looking at the friend across from you, and it's just the two of us. So who's whistling? And I've had a lot of encounters and experiences in that area, and I have some video from that area that I really want to show you. I've got structures from that area, both sides of the river. Of course, I don't disclose locations. Some of the places are private property.
Right.
But I have several from these two properties, one from this property, some from another area that's just where it's open for people to go hunting and fishing, but it's all along the same river basin. Okay.
Now you said you were off FH13. I take it this is something close to your house.
Well, up there, I've got family up there.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I've been back and forth up there, and my son lives up there with mother. So for the last several years, I've been going up there quite a bit. Like I said, I've done Alabama trips, and I've got some video from Alabama. Okay. I'm not sure of the date, but we were there on a Monday in the weekend before we had got there on that Monday from Payne Lake. A couple was there that had got good recordings, and that Monday night we had got audio. I unfortunately deleted the audio, but I do know the gentleman that should still have that audio, and I may be able to retrieve that.
Okay.
I've got video from there, tree structure, stuff like that. So like I said, I'm trying to keep this short and quick, and I apologize to everybody. Get with me and let me show
I'll
you
hit you
everything
up,
that
man.
I got and really go from there.
Okay. That sounds good, buddy. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and email you my number, and then you can just call me next weekend, and that way in case I forget. I'm terrible about that shit.
Because there's a lot that, like I said, there's a lot that goes with it. And like you were saying in live, the consistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have stuff that, like I said, that everything that I have with those videos, any of the pictures, everything's been the same for years.
So what do you have? You have tracks?
Yeah,
somebody's asking in the chat.
Well, I got.
What kind of stuff have you found?
Yeah, when I did when I did the investigation for Tom Muscardi, the gentleman that I went to interview, he had castings of the tracks. Okay. There was a handprint on the little Ford Ranger that they had that I actually got to witness. Excuse me. And then South Carolina, I've got tree structure, I've got tree breaks, I've got stuff that was put together. I've got one to where on the two properties that I'm speaking of, something took sapling and put a piece of metal on it. Property owner would never even think about it, wouldn't be out there, not in his interest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've got tree breaks from there. And where I had my second sighting was there. Now, all I got to see was just from the maiden cane. Okay. I found a bed there, forgot my phone, went back to take pictures of it, got pictures of it, but a tree branch had fallen in it. Okay. Let's see. Alabama, I've got a fresh tree break, got another one that's an older tree break, just a few feet apart. Had an experience here, and this was before we moved up here. If you come 12 south from Bristol,
mm-hmm.
Okay, we got just past the Camel Lake sign.
Right.
Turned in 2 a.m. Now, when we were there by 2:30, of course, I'm making calls. We got flanked from all 4 sides. Now, 3 calls were just whoops. But the one main call, roar, scream, growl combination. Never heard anything like it. The duration was extensive. Shortly after that, there was a tree break. Now, I know they burnt the forest, but I can guarantee you that if I take you out there, I can show you where that tree was that got broke.
Right.
I've got some other stuff from here in the forest that's just unexplainable. I don't, like I said, and I apologize. I don't know why the videos weren't coming through. It kept coming back saying that they wouldn't go through. I don't know what the deal was. So that's why the emails, just let's try and get together and I'll show them to you and we can go from there. And I'll explain everything in better detail then.
Sounds good, brother. Well, yeah, like I said, after the show's over with, I'll shoot you my number and then you can just call me next weekend so I don't forget. Sound good?
Okay. And, all right, any of the listeners, I apologize for anything. Like I said, I was trying to keep this short so other people could call in. Stacey, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, brother.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, guys, going to open the lines back up. They're still open. Never mind, I never closed them. A one-man show here, people. One-man show. All right, here we go. Bellevue, Washington. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Stacy, this is Brett Meyer.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Hey, you and I exchanged emails briefly about 2 weeks ago. I'm out of Western Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm the one that had and I'm having weekly interactions with the Sasquatch people.
Right.
For like the last 4 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyways, I just saw the information you had up on your YouTube page, talking about people and what they're writing and the experiences and stuff, and some of them being too perfect and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, my opinion, just don't even worry about all the, someone that is actually writing something in and they hadn't experienced it, but they're trying to mimic something. There's so many accounts and so many experiences happening that it really doesn't matter that much. And the reality of what's really going on with these people is so far beyond what most people can even dream up. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you now that I got you here. What is the reality that's going on, in your opinion? If you could share that.
Sure. So if you're going to go back to like scientific, you could look at Dr. Melba Ketchum's Sasquatch Genome Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you see the mitochondrial being human female, the male nuclear being two parts. One is numerous animal nuclear male, and then there's a nuclear male that is unknown, and that's the one that doesn't match our genome. That's the one that is a single helix going to a double helix going to a single helix. And so, in my opinion, that's where most of their paranormal and supernatural.
So let me ask you, since you brought up Melba, this is a very touchy topic for a lot of people because a lot of people remember her back in the day.
Sure.
She done been run out of the Bigfoot community one time. Why do you believe science won't accept what she's saying? Because like her first, so Melba did her DNA study and she sent it out for peer review. This is like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Well, so a bunch of scientists looked at it and they all came back with the same conclusion, that she was trying to, it was fraudulent. She was trying to like make DNA is the way it was explained.
Sure.
Right. And Dr. Todd Distel was a good buddy of mine. He was one of the ones that looked at it. And he's like, she doesn't know that I can put it into this machine and it's going to tell me all the different DNAs that are in here. Right. Because she tried to send like a hodgepodge of DNA and is calling it her own. Well, so when that happened, she couldn't get her paper published. So she bought a scientific journal and published her paper herself. Okay. Right. So then there you go. The Sasquatch Genome Project, right? Why? Because I haven't been following her since then, right? I was just like, I wrote it off, I'm like, whatever. But why will science not accept it? If she's telling the truth, why is mainstream science not interested in what she has to say?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would.
Well, your opinion. I know we don't ain't gonna know the reasons, but.
No, I get you. I would also, to bolster that just a little bit, not only does quote unquote mainstream media not want to accept, or not mainstream science not want to accept it, but the mainstream programs that are that there's big money behind and they're national in scope, neither do they take it seriously either, right? It's as though they don't want to leverage all of the evidence that's been gathered by individuals. They don't want to leverage all that to leapfrog ahead of, following the knocks and looking at footprints. It's more than just the science groups that have a problem with it. The reason I think that they don't want to know is that I think there's evidence that they've been manipulating the DNA themselves as well.
Okay.
I think that they've been playing the game, getting access to the ability to manipulate these people, these creatures.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So like, because myself, even though I think she's a farce, but I don't think science will take it seriously because they're told not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really think it's that deep. I think that the government's pretty much got a good handle on this, and it's the same thing with like alien biologics. I know if they ever recovered bodies from these aliens, what happened with that? I know y'all got the DNA at that, right?
Well,
and that never came out.
They're all related. Yeah, I think they're all related. Yeah. I do find her to be credible. And I find that her background is credible. She also has the DNA on dogmen as well. And that the unknown DNA, pardon me?
I said, why not? She got Bigfoot.
Well, she does.
Yeah.
Well, she does. She has the dogman and the Bigfoot DNA genome sequence. What's interesting out of that, though, is that the the unknown DNA, the single helix to double helix DNA that's in there, is the same between Dogman and Sasquatch. It's the same DNA.
It's the same unknown DNA?
It's the same. It's exact same unknown DNA between them. It's a human female mitochondrial. It's a male animal.
So then the Dogman at some point, had bred with a human, though.
Well,
if it's the same,
in my opinion, they didn't get bred initially. In my opinion, they were mixed.
Okay, I got you. Because I was about to say, that actually would make more sense because, Dogman sightings going up since Girls Gone Wild came out on DVD. Right. So maybe there was some breeding with animals.
Well, the thing is that they have all the same abilities as the Sasquatch. The Dogmen have all the same abilities: the cloaking, the mind speak. They have all the exact same abilities that the Sasquatch have.
Okay.
And so the point being is that the single helix to double helix on that one side of the nuclear DNA doesn't work. It in her opinion. So you can find, I think it's almost a 2-hour interview between her and Steve Isdall. And she goes over and talks about the conflict about her study and what they were saying at the time and some of the background information. Anyway, she dives into this DNA and the double helix to single helix. And she goes into detail of saying that doesn't work, right? It's not like every other single DNA sample that we have worldwide. I think there's 3 databanks worldwide. All of the species that we have, they're all double helix. And these cryptids have a single helix DNA in the nuclear that should not work, but it does.
Yeah.
And it does. And you can tell that there's mixing of human DNA and animal DNA. We see that in the goat people, cat people, Sasquatch. We see all of that.
So, okay, I can look this interview up because I've never heard her talk about the controversy.
Oh, yeah. I'll send
because
it to you
that would,
on email.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I'd like to check it out because, because of Bigfoot Bounty, I was really good friends with Todd Dissatel. We were on that show together. And, so I trust him. I've been to his house, all this jazz. I know him. And I was just, when he told me what she sent him, what he got to go over and what he came out of it, because I know he wants Bigfoot to be real. He wants that DNA to get there. He wants to sequence it. You know what I mean? He wants the stuff in his lab so he can look at it for him to have those things. It almost be cool to have her and him on like as a debate. You know what I mean? Sure. I wonder if she'd be up for that because maybe that could explain some things. For me, because I'm just simply talking from my experience and I quit following it. Right. But I know a lot of people lately are banging the door about that, Melba Ketchum work.
He can get the DNA from hundreds of people around the country.
Right.
Honestly, hundreds of people. I got their fingerprints across my windows.
So, okay, hold on. Who has, I take it the government is the one that's made the Dogman? Is that kind of what you were saying?
No. So in my opinion, it goes back to, Genesis 6:6. So it goes back to there. So the fallen angels bred with human females created the Nephilim. Nephilim have been active doing this using the esoteric knowledge, I guess you could call it, using their esoteric knowledge to combine animals, humans, and creating these cryptids. And that's where that's where you get all of the Egyptian crossbreeds and the animals and the cryptids, right?
Yep.
The dogmen who were used as soldiers and things like that. That's where you get all of that. And so it was done by the fallen angels. They've been messing with the human DNA, and corrupting it, flipping the middle finger to God, who created all things in his image, right? So now they're going about messing with it and mixing it with animal DNA and their own, because that's what makes it viable. It's this, in my opinion, because you can do it now. I mean, you can mix any other, in fact, you can go creature to creature, and unless it's of the same, now I'm not a scientist, so unless it's like two canines, you don't get anything out of it, right? So a canine and a monkey, there's nothing that comes from that. But
I wonder why that is. If you can put a human, which is a human is a monkey.
Yeah.
Why
you
would
don't
you
get anything? Nothing comes from it.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Because it's not compatible. But with this single helix to double helix nuclear DNA that's added in, which in my opinion is the fallen angel DNA.
Right.
That's when you get this thing that's viable, and not only viable, but the cryptids are able to reproduce.
Okay.
On their own.
Huh.
You know?
And so that's why we're having, all these dogman encounters, that they're actually not made in a government lab, because you hear all these things about the dogman, as in they're like a government asset. I think they call it earlier.
I think we're going to be surprised when, and hopefully all the information about the biolabs worldwide, what they've been messing with and what they've been doing there. But there's been accounts coming out of, there's a college student down in Arizona who saw, it was like 9 dogmen driving through one of those national forests down there.
Yeah.
And 9 of them, but they were walking in formation 3 wide, 3 deep down the road. And that looked very military.
Right.
And that was his account, that's what he saw. They were acting very military. One of the people, one person that really helped me when I started having these experiences with these people, Sasquatch people, was Robin McCrae.
Okay.
And have you heard of Robin McCrae?
I've heard the name, but I can't place it off the top of my head.
Okay. So she helped me, and she also told me that, based on some of this information, and she talks to the cryptids, and they tell her that there's some that are being made in laboratories by the military.
Okay.
Because of why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're going to try to find, if you're going to try to develop a super soldier, or you want some soldier with these capabilities of reading minds and speaking to people and controlling them, why wouldn't you try to do that? And I think they have.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever run into any of them that are like that. The ones around me aren't like that.
Well, I hope to God that all this dogman stuff is a bunch of bullshit, because I don't want to run into it. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Like, I hope y'all all lying about the dogman stuff. Like, if you are, that's best case scenario for me, because I don't want to turn the corner and there be a 8-foot tall canine looking at me, brother. I will pass out.
Oh, I know, but 8 foot is not even the biggest. Some of the encounters are 12 foot, 14 foot.
So that begs the question: how does a 12 to 14 foot animal? Are they coming through a portal or something? Like, how does a 12 to 14 foot animal stay hidden and feed itself? That's a large animal, right? And so that's always throwing me for a loop. Like, 8 foot's big enough. I think maybe 10 foot's pushing it, but I don't know. These are just, like I said, these are just my thoughts, my opinions on things. But a 12 to 14 foot,
well, we know that
14 foot Sasquatch.
Well, at least while they're here, we know that they eat. Well, exactly, right? And with their families and the whole deal.
Yeah,
they're another human hybrid. So dogmen and the Sasquatch, both human hybrid. Goat people, cat people, human hybrids.
Right.
Yeah. So where'd all the food? We know that they eat because people have seen them eating or killing animals to eat.
Right.
We've seen some of the kill sites where they've where they've consumed animals. So we know that they're doing that, at least while they're here. I don't know what happens wherever they go.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't seem like they're here constantly.
No, it doesn't. But, and it sometimes, just sometimes, it seems like you can call them to you. Which is,
you can.
which is very strange, but I'm not deep down in the rabbit hole as you are, my friend. But I'm getting there,
Well, I would caution anyone to get too far there. When I had my first encounter, it followed like a year of studying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that once they know, I think that there's some kind of like everybody just says, hey, I've been in the woods 40 years. I've hunted, on my own with people for 40 years. I've never seen anything like that. Can't exist. We'd have evidence of it. But then when an individual actually breaks through that denial and sees the evidence, looks at all of the thousands of different accounts that people have that are so very similar in different parts of the world, and starts to believe that it's true, I think that breaks down some barrier that's there that keeps them from approaching you. Because after I've had my experiences, and I've told everybody who wants to listen or who's willing to listen, I've told them the story, whether they like it or not, or whether they believe me or not. And I say 90% of them have had experiences following me telling them about it. And because of my character and they believe me, they start to believe that what I'm telling them is true, what I experienced was true. And they start to have experiences themselves.
Right.
And I tell them, I said, listen, when you do have that experience, if you don't want to continue that, just tell them, listen, I get it, but I don't want anything to do with you. And they've stepped away.
So then, okay, if they're so all the stories when people are attacked, are these a lie? You know what I mean? Because I've heard some people had some really badass stories, and if it's a creature that will simply step away when they're asked, how does that work, right? Because why would you attack something if you'll leave it alone? Are these a different type of creatures, or are these people possibly making these stories up, in your opinion?
I don't think they're making them up. I think what you get out of this hybridization with human beings is, you get a little human being, you get a little bit of the human being side, the purely human side, which has emotions and feelings and all the things that we deal with, right? Yeah. Emotionally. You also have the animal side, which has, very natural, reactive, potentially very aggressive attributes. And then you also have this angel side, which has all of these crazy, incredible capabilities and honestly, mental abilities as well, right?
Right.
And so any one of those things, when you get a hybrid like that, the animal side may be stronger in one offspring and maybe the human side is more stronger in another sibling, right? Where then that Sasquatch looks a little more human, which we hear about, right? Mm-hmm. We hear about these Sasquatch that have nearly human faces. Obviously, their bodies are very, very similar, but sometimes the faces are very human. And another time it's maybe more animal-like. I think you get that variation, and as well you get the emotional variation where, they've had a bad experience, or, gosh, you know what? They know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
They know what I'm thinking. The ones around me, I think stuff and they respond to it. They know when I'm headed to the woods and where I'm going. They follow me wherever I'm traveling. They know that stuff. Right. So do they know that particular person who's riding in who had a bad experience, is he, a terrible person? Did he do some terrible stuff at some time and they're reacting to that? I wouldn't be surprised if they were,
Brother, at the end of the day, I ain't gonna be surprised about none of this shit. Like when it's all said and done, whatever comes at this point, I'll be like, yeah, okay, you know, because it's a crazy world we live in, and this phenomena gets even crazier.
I guess I kind of kicked that part of it off, just saying, hey, careful what you want to do with this. The problem that I've had, you probably haven't had a chance to listen to that 2-part interview that I did, but the problem that I've had is that when the Sasquatch that have dealt with me and are around me and doing and interacting with me have been great. They've been fantastic, and I've never had an issue with them. But whenever they use their energy to heal me, then that triggers something, and immediately, like within a day, there's other creatures and cryptids and stuff at my house or wherever it's at.
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff nobody wants to deal with.
Nope.
I've had to deal with stuff that nobody wants to deal with.
I don't even want to deal with mowing the damn grass. So I just want to come home and rest.
I just caution is all.
Well, buddy, I appreciate your call, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and hey, please send me that information, dude. Really, because I'll look more into it. I just, I'm telling you my experience, why I'm where I'm at, and my position is fluid. It always changes. So
I get it. Yeah, take a look at it and see if it changes your mind any.
Right on, brother.
Or at least gives you more info. Yep. Hey, have a good night.
You too, buddy. Thanks for calling.
You bet. Take care.
Bye. All right. Wow. Okay. So interesting. You know, people with Bigfoot there's different belief systems in all of this. Somebody's telling the truth, right? So I wanted to, my buddy, okay, I'm going to turn the calls off for just a moment. We're going to do a giveaway. Okay. My buddy, famous John Urban, is a illustrator and artist, and he has a line of books, coloring books, Bigfoot based, right? And so last year, my ferret passed away, and it really bothered me. It was a terrible thing. And so I commissioned John to draw a picture of my wife with the ferret, right? And he did, and sent it to me, and I was able to give it to my wife. She didn't know it was coming, but it hangs in our house, and I love it. You know, I get to see it every day. You know, so it's a good reminder of my ferret baby. But he has a website that he just opened up. It's famousjohnurban.com. Okay. And where he sells his books and things like that, you know. But he was nice enough for us to send me one of his coloring books, Goldilocks and the Three Bigfoots, you know. And then there's another one, Famous Bigfoot and Yeti Encounters coloring book. Nice novelty item. I actually have these already. So, you know, anybody that's like collecting Bigfoot stuff, he kind of goes through it. Like here you have the Minnesota Iceman right here. So it's neat. It's neat. And I will send also 2 postcards, Bigfoot playing poker, right? It looks like they're in the Bigfoot underground. It will soon, because we're getting matching cave paintings on the wall in the underground. But I'm going to turn the calls back on right now. And the 5th caller, okay, I'm going to mail you these coloring books. No raffle, no payment, just 5th caller tonight. And you're going to receive both of these coloring books from famous John Urban. I should have had him autograph them. Not sure why I didn't. Let's see if anybody wants some free Bigfoot coloring books. I'm sure somebody out there wants a free Bigfoot coloring book. Call the number, people. 850-695-0522. I had to keep looking it up. I haven't learned it yet. Boy, when I was in my early days, I'd have had that first time and never forgot it. But now the memory's just not there anymore. But you see the guy, Brett, that just called, oh, and somebody, one of you comments, I put it on the screen. He said these podcasts have new calls every week, quote unquote, and he calls bullshit on it. And that's kind of, a good point. You see these videos where they have a narrator just narrating a story that's been read. There's a lot of those on YouTube. They're all bullshit. Right? Like, like y'all having multiple encounters every single day, right? Or witnesses. So here we go. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. Hello?
Am I 5?
You're not 5. You're not 5. You're number 1. I'm sorry.
Did I win?
No, you didn't. Do you want them?
Yeah, of course I do. It's Dean.
Oh, okay.
I won the hat, remember?
Yeah, you won the hat.
Yeah,
well,
bro.
You're number 1. So, hey,
Damn.
let's see if anybody else wants somebody yet to call back. All right, bye-bye. All right, first caller. 4 more to go. Come on, people. It's a free coloring book. What are you talking about? I'll pass. Bro, it's a free coloring book. You just get a coloring book. You don't have to do shit. Just pick up the phone and call. That's it. You know, are we dealing with a bunch of, what are they called? Introverts. Do we have a bunch of introverts here? Okay, we got another call. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. You are caller number 2.
I was calling number 1 already. So
well, now you're caller number 2. So,
all right, I'm going to call back again.
All right, buddy. Somebody else call. That's funny. Okay, here we go.
Am I caller number 3?
You are caller number 3, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to give it to you, okay? Right. You called 3 times in a row. Nobody called out. We're giving them to you, bro. I will ship them out this week, all right? Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
On the coloring books. It's a cool-ass...
yeah, no kidding, man.
Yeah, it's a cool ass thing. I don't know why people were like, no, I'm good. So
I don't understand why nobody wants it.
Who knows, dude? But anyways, I'll get them your way this week, brother.
All right, bro. You got my address, right?
Yeah, I got it from the hat.
Yeah, man.
All right, buddy.
Chase, I'll talk to you later. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Have a good day. Yeah, he kind of earned that one, guys. He called 3 times in a row. Wasn't going to make him call 5, okay? That's pretty funny. But, hey, he gets it, He got it. Foul Owl. He's talking about he don't keep coloring books around no more. I quit hanging around with tweaker chicks. Is that what tweaker chicks do? Okay. At least make him tell the story. Yeah, okay, here we are now. So rest of the night, we got about 20 minutes. Is there anything? I'm gonna turn the phones back on if anybody has an encounter, any kind of story. Y'all give me a call, we'll talk about it. Make him call one more time. I should have made him call one more time. I should have made him do 4. It's all right. I'm trying to do the right thing these days. Make sure I don't go to the hell. Right? Yeah, as I was saying, on them damn YouTube channels that have them narrators just reading the story, y'all don't need to be believing that shit. It's entertainment. Sure. It's entertaining. All right, here we go. We got another call. Hope this ain't about the damn coloring book. You're on the Bigfoot Underground. Who am I speaking with?
Jake.
Hey, Jake, how you doing, man?
Coloring book.
He was calling for a coloring book.
Pretty good.
Well, the coloring book, you must be on a delay. The coloring book has been given away.
Man.
Sorry about that. I will be doing another one soon.
Got I got you. Shoot. Well, I appreciate it, man. That was good hearing your voice.
Yeah.
I watch all your videos.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Do you have, while I got you here, do you have an encounter or any kind of story?
No, not really. Me and my dad just got into it. Me and my dad's pretty close, and we've been starting it up. Bigfoot hunting a little bit, trying to get into it, but we ain't had no encounters or nothing really right now. We just started getting into it about a year ago. I finally talked him into getting into it.
Well, where in Alabama are you about?
North Alabama, over in Newmarket, close to the Tennessee state line.
Okay. Did you hear about the East Alabama Bigfoot Conference town hall?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Where's it at?
It is around Auburn.
Auburn. Okay. When is it?
Like Columbus area, Columbus, Auburn. It's kind of the same area. Yeah, it's around in there, and it's March 7th.
March 7th. And online, will they have the address and where it'll be at and everything?
Yeah, they will. And if you're interested in coming, I'm sorry I gave the coloring book away. But if you're if you're interested in coming, I'll give you 2 tickets to the damn town hall. How about that? That sound good?
Yes, sir, it does. I'll talk my dad into it, and remember my name. My name's Jake McElroy.
Well, hey, bud, you got
introduce myself to you.
You got email, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Can you email me your name, and I'll just do your name +1 at the door. So when you get when you get there, if you decide to come down, it shouldn't be that far from you. Maybe about 3 hours or so. But if y'all want to come down to the town hall, I know Kumbo Baker's speaking, MK Davis is speaking, I'm speaking myself. It's just gonna be a good all-day event, man.
That sounds good. I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, bud. Well, hey, just go ahead, shoot me an email, and I'll get your name back on there, brother.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Stacy.
All right, buddy. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Now, see, I felt bad. I felt bad, dude. It's like I shouldn't have. I don't know. Dean would have probably called 2 more times before that guy, right? But hey, he got tickets to the East Alabama Town Hall, right? You know, that's worth something. So you get to come and meet me. Yay, right? No. People don't come talk to me. I'm an introvert. It freaks me out. There's a lot of that. Like, it's weird that... Okay, we got another call. Let's see who it is. Please don't be about this damn coloring book. You're on the Bigfoot Underground.
Hey, Stacy.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Who am I speaking with?
All right, this is Ken from Destin, Florida.
Oh, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. I know I'm the 5th caller, right?
No, you're not the 5th caller, bud. I don't know if there's a delay going on or not, but you would technically be the 5th caller, right? But technically,
I'm just playing with you, man.
Okay. Say shit.
Yeah. I just had to mess with you a little bit, man. I've been enjoying your podcast. I really like your older podcast too. You with a couple of buddies. It's always really entertaining to watch that.
Yeah. Appreciate it,
I just had
buddy.
a comment to make.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I had a comment to make. this is something that you were originally speaking about. Whenever I tuned in, anyway, you were talking about the DNA, the genome project, and everything.
Yeah.
And the way that I have a book that I really enjoy. It's called The Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warrior's Path. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't. I'm not a big book reader. Everybody, I know some people have told me to read books. I'm not a big book reader. I have a problem sitting still too long.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have a pretty good YouTube page too. If you ever want to listen to something.
I'm more of an audiobook kind of guy.
With that, like on what now?
I'm more of an audiobook kind of guy.
Got you. Well, yeah, I think you'd like it.
Okay.
But yeah, this is what this book is about. It's just this book's purpose is to warn and prepare others, and simplify by teaching that a predator is always a predator, and whether fully manifested, demonized flesh and blood, or in the state of a disembodied spirit looking for a host body, the predators employ the same tactics for grooming and consuming all pure flesh, all pure life on Earth. Food is the first goal, and consumption of the human soul energy and light is the end and primary goal. So the book goes into how this genome project exposes kind of how it uses the original predator DNA. And that original caller, he had mentioned how that even the DNA goes into a single helix at times.
Yeah.
Which would be like an incomplete type of DNA. And he mentions Genesis 6, which I also, definitely agree with. Kind of shows that, if it's from God, if you believe in God, if it comes from God, it's going to be a complete DNA path. And a couple of things kind of led me down this, it kind of verified this for me. Like where I used to live in Eastern Kentucky, there's a couple different things that had happened. My cousin and her then boyfriend, they were traveling up around this big mountaintop to get to where they were living. They came across this big white thing that was in the middle of the road. Now, this is like in the middle of the night. And they said it was like around 7 foot tall, kind of lanky, but white, long hair. The eyes were super wide, spaced apart. And this would have been nearly 30 some years ago that this happened. They swear to it. And when I visited about a year and a half ago, I met a guy who said that he had seen this upright walking, what he basically is a bull, he said. Swears to it. Didn't seem all that crazy any other way, but what it kind of tells me is the way that it's also described in the book is what these predators do is they will, eat their prey wherever they are. And whenever that mother gives birth, that DNA which they have consumed will be expressed in that predator that comes out at the end. And in my opinion, it makes it easier for that predator to get close to its prey. And in my case, it's tons of farms everywhere, like beef cattle, grazing cattle, cows, stuff like that, goats. So it's just kind of an interesting kind of thought that I wanted to share with you and see what you thought of it.
Yeah, that's hell. I don't know. You know what I mean? So what you're telling me though is like it would. So let's say it ate an armadillo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now when it has babies again, it's going to have part armadillo.
Well, I would imagine it would have some, the DNA would be expressed in some sort of way. Now, would it be physical? I don't know about that.
Right.
But, you'd imagine that years down the line or through various generations. And it probably wouldn't take very many, but, you'd be seeing some type of predator.
Right.
And its end would have some type of aspect to that's an armadillo.
Well, my God, I hope you're wrong and we don't end up with fucking armadillo man running around. You damn sure couldn't kill him, bro.
That'd be dangerous, bro. Well, there'd be a lot of them in the road, I can tell you that.
Oh, hell yeah. It's just that, hey, we would have proof of it for sure. We would finally have evidence, because I promise you, there's an armadillo man, he's going to be dead in a road. Ain't no problem with that.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, that's wild, man. There's so many angles and so many like rabbit holes you can get into on this Bigfoot stuff. And I just hope something pans out, right? You know what I mean? Because I want it to be proven.
Yeah.
I really don't want Dogman to be real. I'm going to be honest with you. So but I could do without that.
But, yeah, it goes to, I really think about like testimony, like witness testimony. And it seems like there's just so many that are so credible that have witnessed these things, and in various forms, like demonic, in the flesh, kind of, various things like that. Very odd. There's always a feeling of deep foreboding and fear and all that stuff. It seems pretty dark.
Right.
Anything that I've seen that's like on a flash of beauty, that channel.
Yeah.
I just can't get with the idea that these things are people. I just think that they're a predator, like much always a predator. If they're going to be nice to you or something, it's because you're, kind of food in the pantry, so to speak.
Right. Or maybe, hey, it's like a rattlesnake, right? A rattlesnake is a predator. If they've just eaten, you're good. They're not going to mess with you. But if they're hungry, because we had a rattlesnake on our my Aunt Trudy's porch one time. It was like 4 foot and just docile, sitting there trying to digest that meal.
Yep.
It just really wouldn't do nothing. We put it in a bucket and walked off. There was no fight to it at all. But, I guess if that thing was hungry, it might be a little different story there. So.
Very true.
Well, brother, I appreciate the call, man. And,
sure.
Yeah, dude, it's just appreciate watching the show and supporting, man. So till I talk to you again,
Absolutely.
man.
I'll talk to you on Facebook, and I'll send you a link to Jerry and Ella's channel. You can check that out too. But yeah, I'll definitely be in touch with you, bud.
Please do, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
All right, everybody. There we go. Another call in the books. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to end this show on time tonight. It's 9:53. So, but yes, we do this bare effort. We do this show every Sunday. I'm going to start posting this to my social medias when we're live, so the audience can kind of foul out that rattlesnake. It was like 90 degrees outside, bro. That rattlesnake was not cold, dude. I promise you. He had this big lump in him, and I don't know. Maybe he was just about to die. I don't know, but he wasn't putting up no fight. But yeah, we do this show every Sunday. So y'all please spread the word. Because the more this gets out there, I mean, you look, we had like 140 something people watching at one time tonight. I got 129 right now. The more the word spreads about this show, the more callers we'll get in and the more cool stories that you guys will get to hear. So it's kind of on y'all, although I'm going to do my best to promote it as well. But yeah, I enjoy this. I really love the live show. You never know what kind of calls you're going to get. I kind of The dog man, I guess, is going to be a reoccurring thing. I guess people are going to tell us dog man stories, which is fine. I want to hear them. I really do. I hope dog man's fake. I haven't seen dog man, so I don't believe in dog man. Right. And that's where I was with Bigfoot. But hey, y'all, we went through my reasons to think that encounters were false, red flags in the encounters. And then we had some callers. And so you guys got to hear kind of some of what we covered, and each case you can't, the stuff I laid out earlier, it's not a blanket, right? You can't put that on every single encounter, right? Sometimes the guy doesn't act like it's no big deal because of whatever. Maybe he's super shy, maybe he's autistic. You have to kind of navigate through that. So the things I talked about isn't always an exact science, right? It's not always going to be like that. So you kind of have to discern for yourself, but it's still good information to think about. So you can decide. I don't know how much you're into this Bigfoot thing, but brother, we've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars and hours of time with like teams of 10 to 20 people going out to a site and staying there for weeks, right? Investing your time in it, and you really have to feel it out. And at the end of the day, it's only 8:53. No, bro. I start at the end of the day, you're gonna have a gut feeling. A lot of the times, I get that gut feeling from you when I shake your hand. I don't know how to explain it, but that handshake to me also means a lot, right? When I first meet you and I shake your hand, I kind of know what kind of person you are based off of that, right? And so that I count that into it too. But your gut is going to tell you whether this person's full of shit or whether they're telling the truth. It does it for me every single time. I know it's going to do it for you. Listen to it, bro. I don't know if it's your ancestors talking through you or whatever, but it's the truth. Very rarely is your gut wrong. So I would always say trust that. Rhonda Lee says that. Sometimes I think it's just a bunch of YouTubers in the woods hitting trees and whooping back and forth to each other. Yes, that is a thing. People do that. People have heard other teams. That's why with the upcoming expedition I'm having, I'm not telling the people that are coming exactly where we're going to be at till the week of. I don't want the word out. I don't want us talking to someone else, But, oh, by the way, on that expedition, I got one spot left. Anybody wants to go to it, email. That expedition is last weekend in March. Going to have some guests there. Craig from the Beast of Curly's Canyon episode is going to be there. Flat Rock is coming out. So we're going to have some people that will be telling their stories as well. And we're actually going to be investigating. We're actually going to try to get Bigfoot evidence. So that's still one spot left open for that. We'll be a small group. We had 10 spots open. And there will probably be 15, 16 people there total. So not too much. Everybody, Wednesday, it's going to be a live interview with somebody. You'll be able to ask questions directly, because a lot of times I don't ask the questions you guys want to hear. So we will be interviewing a guy live. I believe he's in the chats. The guy I had lined up, his mother passed away, so he's going to be coming on at a later date. I've got to find a guest for this Wednesday, but I'm going to ask the guy from Maine who I was going to do the following week. So either way, going to have a guest for you Wednesday night. We're going to be talking about it. You'll be able to ask him questions. But anyways, y'all get at me. If you got any sightings, any questions, anything like that. Outside of that, we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate everybody hanging out and making this a great show.